Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, Putinbot. Today, we are going to be doing a guide on one of the original Shadowkin epics that was released when the faction was released about a year ago. And I'm talking about Chonoru. I have just recently pulled this champion. I've seen some of the reviews that some of the different YouTubers have on this particular champion. And I've got to admit, they looked a little bit underwhelming. And so your favorite bot, Putinbot, wants to take this champion out on a test drive for myself. I want to see how serviceable she is on an account for DPS, which is exactly what Chonoru is. So let's just get right on into it. As you can see, she is an attack-based champion. She is a Shadowkin. I really love the aesthetics that this champion has. I mean, she just looks really badass. There's no other way I could think of to put it. She's got the tattoos. She's got this cloak. She has, I don't know. She just has that Asian theme. She's got the long hair. She's got the two swords. The little top knot up there. I mean, just aesthetically, she looks really good. Let's look at her skills. She has 3 active skills. Her A1, Night Blossom, attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance, books up to 50, of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. So block buffs on an A1, that's not bad. I think that's a good skill. Her A2, Reign of Fear. This is where a lot of times people will kind of throw shade on this champion. Attacks 3 times at random. That random is what people get hung up on. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing the big version of Weaken for 2 turns, books up to 100%. And then her A3, Lay Bare, removes all increased defense buffs from all enemies, then attacks all enemies. Decreases the cooldown of Lay Bare by 1 turn for each enemy killed by this skill. This looks pretty good because there's a lot of champions in this game now that will go in and they will place that defense up buff. Helicath comes to mind. Chonoru should counter that defense up that his passive puts out. Seeker is another champion that comes to mind, provided someone else scores a crit on him first. But I think where you're going to be able to really get some use out of Chonoru in a PvP sense is against Helicath. Helicath in the arena, if you go against him there, he'll throw up his shield, have your stripper remove it, then that 60% defense up buff will go up, then Chonoru will go in nuke with her A3, she'll remove that buff before she hits. So we'll have to see how it is, we'll have to see just how the damage is. We're going to do some testing, and we'll just kind of go from there. The artifacts I have her in, I've got her in Perception and then 2 mismatched pieces. I've got her 29k health. She is very squishy. She's hard to keep alive, so you got to build a team with that in mind to keep her up if she's your main DPS, especially early game. Her attack is decent, 4,246. Her defense is non-existent. She's an attack-based champion, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Her speed is 212, 100% crit rate. Crit damage is a bit low. I would like to get this up higher for this damage test. Just unfortunately, after clan versus clan, I just don't have very much silver to move around and to spin moving gear around. So this will have to do. And I've got her with 319 accuracy. Now, one thing I am doing for the sake of this damage test, I am going to run her with Lydia. Just kind of simulate having a higher crit damage cap on her. I try not to do that typically, but in this case, though, I'm just going to have to, because I want to give Chonoru a chance to see how viable is she going to be as a damage dealer. Her masteries, I've got her going down the support tree and also offense. I do have her going down the Helm Smasher, just to give us a chance to ignore some defense. War Master is also a very solid way to go. To be honest with you, that might be the better way to go. Just me personally, I just really like to try and just ignore defense just to get more damage off of the base attacks rather than relying on a proc. That's just me. If you're never going to use your PvP, Go Helm Smasher all day long. You're not gonna have any regrets with it. I did go down to Master Hexer because she does have a chance to lay that weaken. She also has a chance to put down that block buffs buff with her A1. And of course I took the accuracy. And also with Lore of Steel, just to get some extra stats out of those perception sets. So without any further ado, let's hop into it and let's see, first of all, how hard does she hit? I think what we're going to do, she has Spirit Affinity. Let's go into Ice Golem 20 just for the sake of our damage test. Okay, y'all, so here we are. We are in Ice Golem 20. We're just going to do a damage test here. I brought in Arbiter for the attack up. I've got Lydia for defense down and weaken. And so I just want to give Chonoru as much of a chance on this damage test as I can. I've got Contra the Cyclone in here just to help tank the waves. And I have got Venomage to be the win condition that we are going to use against the boss. So let's go in. Let's do the attack up. So here's the defense down and weaken. Let's go ahead and do Contra's A2. Alright, so here's Chonoru. Let's go ahead and let's do the A1. Let's see how hard this hits. This one here in the front. Let's see. 62k. So not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and throw up some poisons. Just kind of cycle through here. Everyone's provoked. Beautiful. That's what we want to see. Got the attack up. Alright, let's slow this down. Let's use Chonoru's A2. This is the random hitter. Rain of Fear. So let's see how hard this hits. About 36k, so not very impressive. Now, granted, if I had her in Savage gear or Savage and Cruel, that of course would make it hit harder. But I don't think it would make it hit that much harder to make it more impactful. Not with a weaken and a defense down. Just being completely honest with you. Contra's doing Contra things, just taking all these hits, which is exactly what we expect from Contra the Cycle. Great champion. Okay, so now here's the A3. This should bring in the pain. So lay bare. Let's see how hard this hits. This is the AoE. Slow this down. Bam! So 72 to 74k, I think is what I saw there. So again, not incredible, but not trash either. I'm just going to put this on auto now, and let's enjoy the show. Okay, and there we have it, folks. Against the waves, her damage was decent, but not great. But when we got to the boss, as y'all saw, Chonoru was doing some work. I mean, she was hitting the ads for over 100k. She was bringing the pain against the actual Ice Golem himself. And one thing I want to kind of point out here, if you look at the total damage, Chonoru came up with 2.7 million damage, incredibly respectable compared to Venomage's 1.2 million. So I've got to admit, I'm impressed. Is Chonoru a god tier nuker? No. Is she serviceable? Absolutely. So the big boy content creators who saying Chonoru is trash is going to depend on your account. But if you're early game, if you pull Chonoru, I'm going to straight up recommend you go ahead and consider building her out. I think she's going to do some work for you. This is crap. Let's go in and take a look at another dungeon. I'm impressed. I think that she is very serviceable. I think that Chonoru is doing a lot of work. I would not run her in Spider. I don't think that's really where she's going to play at very well. I'm going to try Fire Knight 20. We're going to see how Chonoru will work against the Fire Knight. So we've got Apothecary in the lead. We've got Chonoru for our DPS. We've got Thylesia for our defense down. And we have got Allure for turn meter control against the actual boss. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so there we are with Fire Knight. It was not the fastest run, and Chonoru, unlike with the Ice Golem, didn't bring a whole lot to bear against the actual boss. But against the waves, though, she was an absolute monster. So she came in with 1.5 million damage, followed by Thylesia with 1.1. Of course, Arbiter and Apothecary, they were just there for healing and resistance in case we needed it. And we have Allure in there just for the turn meter control. And those are complete garbage. And I'm not sure where else I could show y'all anything about this champion. Let's see, is Shadowkin Faction Wars open? No, it's Dwarves. Of course it's Dwarves. I wish it was Shadowkin. I would show y'all in there, but unfortunately it is not. So let's go in for some final thoughts about Chonoru. I think early to mid game, she is very good. If you're lucky enough to pull her early on, she is an epic that you can invest in. Her A2 does mediocre damage, and that weaken is not consistent unless it's against a boss, because it's just the one target in that case. If you are using Chonoru against a Fire Knight, go ahead and set your presets and have her open up with her A2. That way you'll get that triple hitter on the shield, help get that shield down quicker. She is not going to do insane damage against the boss, but against the waves, she is going to do some work. You could definitely do a whole lot worse with another champion besides Chonoru. That's just an absolute fact. Is Chonoru worth building out? I think so. If you're early game or if you're mid game, if you're working on faction wars, Chonoru is going to do a lot of work for you. I think you can get a lot of mileage out of her. When it comes to the arena, if you're able to one-shot the enemy with her A3 with this lay bear skill, I think it could do some work for you. The issue going into the arena is that there's a lot of magic affinity champions, and Chonoru, is being spirit, is going to be weak affinity. Chonoru, like any other attack-based champion, is going to be difficult to keep alive. That being said, I think that she's going to be very serviceable for you. I think that she will do well for you. And if you have this champion, I would recommend investing in her. Let me just be completely honest with you. I think that if you're using Kale or Elaine as your starting champions, I think they'll do a better job for you in the arena. However, Chonoru is going to do a fantastic job for you in dungeons, especially in the forced dungeons where your Kale and your Elaine are going to be weak affinity, getting weak kits. Chonoru can push out. She can just dish out a lot of pain. That's the best way I can think of to put it. Just put her in a team that's able to keep her alive because she is squishy. Well, y'all, this will conclude the guide. If you enjoyed this content, if you like this video, if you would do me a favor, smash that like button down there, and also hit that subscribe button. The channel is small, but it's growing, and the engagement that you folks give, that just helps push these videos up higher in the analytics, and your favorite bot, Putin Bot, appreciates it.